Oakland Raiders Las Vegas NFL Stadium proposal spreadsheet. I wanted to give you a better view of the spreadsheet because I used the camera that I generally employ to make vlogs so I can see my face, but it's not very good at aiming when you turn it around. So here is a better view. Total project costs. All of this is from the SNTIC model that was developed by Jeremy Aguillo, Las Vegas Sands, Oakland Raiders, and Majestic for the SNTIC, the Southern Nevada Tourism and Infrastructure Committee, last year. You have construction costs, land infrastructure and site costs here, 1.325 billion, 375 million. This is new. Off-site transportation infrastructure costs per Senate Bill 1, $450 million. That's new because at the time they were building the model, they didn't consider that. And not only did they not consider it, the biggest problem of all was simply, folks, that the organization assumed it would be $450 million, $150 million at the time, and not greater than that. They left it to the Nevada Department of Transportation to come up with a proper estimate, but it wasn't until October 10th, actually 4th, when the report was released, that they did it, but it didn't get public view until the Las Vegas Review-Journal. It was leaked to them, a reporter, and during the Nevada Assembly hearing on the Senate bill that eventually, on the Senate Bill 1 that eventually was passed and led to the $750 million subsidy provision, it wasn't seen until then. Nevada legislature went ape. The senators wanted to know why they didn't see it when they voted on October 10th. The Assembly people, it gave them pause. Eventually, as you know, it passed by a close vote. Now, the bottom line is, as long as Shell Nadelson was involved, no one paid attention to this. Okay? No one paid attention to this. They left it alone. Sheldon Adelson and Las Vegas Sands and Majestic say they all pay for it. It didn't become an issue until he left, because he has deeper pockets than everyone else. But what we have here under total net NFL stadium project revenue is negative $450 million. Now we go to stadium operations. These are the estimated stadium revenues. Again, these are all numbers based on the SNTIC model. I simply multiplied them by 30 to represent the lease term. That is all. I didn't do anything else. Nothing, okay? And so there you are. You've got your estimated stadium revenues. You have your total stadium revenue here. This includes naming rights, luxury suites, sponsorships, everything, parking. Okay, there, over a 30-year period. Your operating expenses, all from SNTIC. The note is here, $646 million over a 30-year period. There is your net revenue minus expenses. Okay, $597 million. But then you got to add debt, because you're probably saying, wait a minute, there's no shortfall. Wait a second, because first of all, this, all right, is B22. This is the stadium itself. Okay, so you have to be careful. This is the stadium itself, so you can't misread this. This is simply B22 minus B24. There's B22 right there, and there's B22, it's total stadium revenue. Then look at B24, right? And then that's what you get there. That's stadium. Okay? But see, now you've got to look at your debt. That is, now the original calculation I had in here included and I'll have to reopen this so you can see the calculation, but it included I'll have to close this and reopen. Let me close this, and I won't save it. I'll discard those changes, and then I'll reopen it so you can see the number as is. What I did in my last video is I took out the loan amount, the debt that was put in by the SNTIC staff. This is $1,036 million. That consists of the $12 million annually that the SNTIC staff had in times 30 years, plus the Bank of America loan, $650 million times the LIBOR rate. Okay, that's that. This is capital expenditure, simply 2,500,000 times 30 years, 1.111 billion. Now this is your free stadium operating cash flow. Your free stadium operating cash flow is simply, that's right, you've got B26, which is stadium net operating income, minus your total debt service. Okay, so you've got B26 right here, your stadium total net operating income right there, right? But then you got to take your debt service out of that. Okay, your debt service and capital. Your debt service and capital. And that's your total debt service and capital there. Okay, so again, that was 31. So again, B26 minus B31. And there you go. Now, you're still not done, because you have to take this shortfall, this result rather, could be a shortfall, could be a surplus, but in this case it's a shortfall. And then you have to consider your total NFL net stadium project revenue, which is here, because you'd like to use that revenue to pay off your debt, right? But in this case, you can't do that. The cash flow amount is simply too large, okay? It's just simply too great. So your free operating cash flow is here, but your total project operating cash flow is negative 964 million. Now, if I took out the 12 million annual debt that the SNTIC staff put in here, it would be reduced to 154 million over a 30-year period. But we would still have, instead of a $964 million shortfall, $604 million shortfall. Okay? So the point that I'm making is that the stadium's revenue itself is not enough to cover the Bank of America debt, let alone the basically ignored off-site transportation costs. That's what I'm saying. And if you like Mark Davis, you're not going to send him in a situation where he's going to lose money. That's what's going to happen. They will evict him with this kind of deal. They will simply evict him with this. And the Raiders. Not just him, but the Raiders. No one wants that.